have another kit review, it being Saturday morning here in the good old Republic of Korea. And what we've selected is the IDF medium tank M51 Super Sherman by Academy. Y'all might be noticing the theme. I do review a lot of Academy kits. That's because I personally find them a pleasure to build. They are dead straightforward for the most part. I am not that skilled a modeler, so the fact that they're straightforward and also usually slightly more detailed than Tamiya's offerings at a reasonable price. The price point I find often is similar to or better than Tamiya's on like for like products, and they're so easy to get a hold of. Like I say, I'm in Korea right now, so they're literally made in a factory about an hour up the road from me. Getting a hold of Dragon and even getting a hold of Tamiya, which is made in Japan, which is just across the water, can be a bit of a challenge. I have to special order those ones. So we've got this. It was $24 at the local hobby shop. It is a 1997 kit, so we're gonna have a look and see if the molds are showing their age at all. So, a little bit of background information for us. What is an M51 Super Sherman? Basically, it is the cast hull version of the Sherman, the M4A1, with a French designed 105mm CN 105-F156 gun. So 105mm there, fitted to the Sherman to try and keep up with Arab developments. A lot of these vehicles were purchased post-World War II, around about 1956. France started delivering these vehicles over. It's got a Cummins 460 horsepower diesel engine. It's got E8 HVSS suspension, modified steering, transmission, exhaust, and wider tracks, as well as a new turret mantlet and turret bustle that you can see on the back right here. So, a little bit of background info. I know some of you like that. Let's have a look at the plastic and see what that's like. So, first thing is, this is how you get your tracks. So, I'm quite happy about that. They're flat at the very least. They're not all twisted up or anything. I wish they'd kind of clipped this just so they could be a bit flatter, but beggars can't be choosers most of the time. The tread pattern on them is quite nice. There's a bit of a sink mark right there. I can see it looking through the viewfinder, so I mean, I just don't put that bit on the end and it'll be alright. There's another mark up here, although this one's actually a protrusion that sticks out, so a little bit of a rub with the scalpel and that'll be gone. There's another sink mark there and another protrusion here. So, and yep, there's another sink mark right by my thumb. So that's just one track. The other track is kind of similar with the position and size of its sink marks and pits and things. Honestly, by the time you've weathered them, you probably won't notice. Just pack a bit of mud in there or an extra bit of dust and some pigment fixer. You're not going to notice. Lower hull, it's kind of basic, but it does have all what it needs. The suspension is going to cover a lot of this. It's got some pretty big ejector pin marks, but despite their size, they look pretty shallow. So, I mean, I'm struggling to pick them up on the viewfinder, but it's literally right where my thumb is. There we go. So, I mean, they're pretty big, but they're pretty shallow. So, a bit of a caress with a sanding stick and they should go bye-bye. There's a escape hatch needs to get glued in there, and the transmission housing and everything is a separate part. So not too bad, given that we're looking at a 23-year-old kit, a kit that can legally consume its own alcohol that it's purchased. So, suspension, the road wheels don't have a mold line down the middle of them on some of them do. Feel free to argue yourselves into an early grave about whether or not they should have a seam. I've been around a few tanks and some of them do and some of them don't. The last American tank that I bothered to check, I believe, was a Patton. It was either a Patton or a Pershing. I think it was a Patton, an M60 Patton at the VFW near Ashland in Virginia, and it did have a seam on the road wheels. So, I mean, take it as it is. If you want to remove it, remove it. Just remember, if it did come out of the factory with a seam, that's going to wear off as the vehicle's in use. So if you're doing a heavily worn vehicle, no seams. If it's fresh out the factory or a restored vehicle, then probably seams. I apologise, I got way distracted there on that little rant. The other parts look good, they look nice and crisp. There's no, I mean, there's some mold lines on some of the bits, but it's nothing that a casual pass with a 1000 grade or you know, an 800 or 900 grade sanding stick's not going to cure in a little heartbeat. So there's two of those frames, quite nice. Not found anything major complaints wise. This is frame D. We've got main engine deck, we've got stowage boxes, we've got crew. I believe this box comes with 3 crewmen. So we've got a torso and legs there, so that's at least one. We've got jerry cans, we've got, I believe this is an exhaust part, or part of the exhaust. Probably the escape hatch there. Excuse me. As well as the dust cover for the mantlets. And in fact, we've got 3 heads. So either we've got options for heads, or we've got 3 crewmen, because we also have 3 torsos there. So, yeah, dust cover for the gun mantlet. I mean, it's got a little bit of a seam, but it looks quite nice. There's nothing that jumps out at me that says this part is going to be a problem. It's 2-part, which, I mean, you're going to have to fill it maybe, but when you're getting a kit for $24, 5 minutes of figuring out how to fill it and then maybe 20 minutes of sanding or vice versa isn't going to kill you, I don't think. Especially when it's not a $90 dragging kit. If it was a $90 kit, I would be way more upset about having to do that sort of stuff, and have been. Transmission cover for the front of the tank. Transmission covers that go inside the front drive wheels. The drive wheels themselves, as well as cupolas. Few other bits and pieces, hatches and things. Turret detail we've got. What else have we got here? This is a side hatch that's shown as being open on the side of the turret. Try to figure out what this is, and for the life of me I can't figure it out. I don't think it's a cover for a light, because that would be the wrong shape, I think, unless it's the two of them molded together back to back, which is far more plausible. That is actually what it appears to be. So apparently I'm a bit of a spaz sometimes. What these parts now, this is the point of interest, these parts take a piece of fabric. There's no photo etch, but these have a grill over them. And when we go through the instructions, I'll point it out. But you achieve it by cutting fabric. The fabric itself has run away to join the circus, I presume. Otherwise, I'd show you it. I can't see it offhand. Academy do include a nice stowage set, and if I remember correctly, literally the instructions say use it however you want. So you can include it, you can not include it. This part 18 and 15 go together. I'll show you that in the instructions as well, because I cannot figure out what they're supposed to be. Unless it's like a base for a mortar or something like that. Yeah, I've got no idea. We've got backpacks and rolls, we've got ammunition. I mean, it's not the brass ammunition that Dragon were giving away in their premium kits, but, I mean, heck, it's better than no ammunition, right? And then we've got some boxes and stuff. I'm keeping an eye out for that fabric and I'm just not seeing it. So, yeah. Alright, so main sprue here, we have the hull, which has a pretty nice cast texture on it. The top of the hull there, you can see there's an inscribed G on there. I mean, it looks very crisp, even if it is lacking in detail, but having been through the instructions, it looks like a lot of the detail you do actually add on as you build the model up. So there is that. Then we've got the turret, which again, nice cast texture. It's got E6799253, copyright 1542 on it, which I'm not an expert on the casting of Sherman turrets, but to me it's believable enough to say that that's a factory number, to say who made it, when they made it, and what grade of metal was used. We've got, this is the bottom half of the turret again, it's got nice weld detail there and nice cast detail. Bottom half of the gun, which looks alright, and then the top half, it's not slide molded, but I mean 1997. And then we've got what I believe is the two other muzzle brake plates right here to make that up out of the three parts and the mantlet. So all in all, it does look very nice. It looks like it's going to do a good kit, if a little basic, but you know, as I mentioned, it was a $24 kit. It wasn't an expensive buy, so I mean, you take what you can get in this sort of thing. I've got the Decals right here, which has bags open, so we'll just slide them out. I'm still trying to find that little piece of fabric. I don't know where it went, so sorry about that, guys. It just seems to have, I mean, I don't even have carpet in here, so blaming the carpet monster, I think, is pushing my luck. Anyway, these are Academy homebrewed decals. They're not made by Cartograph or anyone like that, but they feel nice and thin. The edges on them are nice and sharp, and I mean they're fairly simple, but looking at the vehicle, there ain't much space for identification markings at all. So got them. Pop that up there. Right, let's have a look at the instructions. It's a fold out booklet type. This is the three-part, the B18, B15 assembly. I could not figure out what that is. The only thing I can think of being is like a base plate for a mortar or something like that. But why it would have two legs longer than each other and one short leg, don't know. I'm not an expert on Israeli mortars, sorry. But I mean, other than that, the instructions are clear. It's got mixing instructions for cyanide grey. Obviously, this square is confusing because it's grey. It's not in colour, but take what you can get. Melt together tracks. I'll probably staple them for obvious reasons. But as you can see, they're very, very clear on how you put things together. There's no polycaps for the wheels. So what I'll probably do is assemble the suspension, paint the wheels separately, then put the wheels on, and then once I'm done painting up the actual vehicle, I'll attach the suspension to it and then add the tracks on. I think that's the way I'm going to do it. Whether or not that actually is the way, I don't know. And here we see cut mesh for F28. It shouldn't be too hard. I wish it told you what kind of glue to use. Probably white glue will be order of the day for that. But anyway, that is the IDF medium tank M51 from Academy 1997 kit. I'm glad to have this review done now because it means I can get to building it, because I am very excited to add this to my collection. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that done, and I'll maybe throw in an update video once I've actually completed the principal construction on it and just go over what it was actually like to build this old girl. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking with me. It was a bit of a long one, but I feel like some of the things that we went over were worth talking about. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you again next time. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.